This program has been brought to you by Republic National Distributing Company, one of the nation's leading wholesale beverage alcohol distributors. And by your rum, made with only the best Louisiana cane syrup and raw unrefined sugars. Our rums are crafted on-site at the Louisiana Spirits Distillery. For more information, visit buyyourrum.com.
Good evening and welcome back to Appetite for Life. I am your host, Tim McNally, and we appreciate your being a part of our journey through the lifestyle and loves of New Orleans and New Orleanians. Tonight we delve into the many beverage opportunities available to us during this season, with particular emphasis on wines that complement our celebrations and our cuisines. We will speak with a winemaker, Justin Seidenfield, here at Rodney Strong Vineyards and Winery, all the way from Russian River, California, located in Sonoma County. Then we will take you to one of the most interesting bartenders in New Orleans who minds the bar at one of New Orleans' grandest dining rooms. It's Paul Gustings at the Empire Bar at Broussard's Restaurant in the heart of the French Quarter. Quite a setting and quite a guy. And finally, we will visit with one of the premier retailers in the area, located right in the center of the metro, Pearl Wine Company's leader, Leora Madden. She can direct clients to wines, spirits, and beers with knowledgeable advice. Nothing is in her stock that she has not personally taste-tested. All of that ahead on Appetite for Life. We will be right back after this break.
Discover your New Orleans. Start exploring at followyournola.com.
And I love New Orleans.
Welcome back to Appetite for Life. Thank you so much for being with us today. We've got a great treat in store for you. Through the magic of, internet, we're going to take you out to Sonoma County, Healdsburg to be exact. Justin Seidenfield is with us today from Rodney Strong Winery. He's a winemaker out there. Justin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. Rodney Strong is a big favorite here in New Orleans, Justin. You're doing fabulous work. What's the story? Is it the terroir? Is it the soil, the air, you?
All of the above. I don't know much about me, but I always tell people Sonoma County is the best place in the world to grow grapes, and that's because of the diversity of the terroir. We have diverse AVAs from Russian River Valley, Chalk Hill, Alexander Valley, Dry Creek, Knights Valley, I could go on, which give us a gambit of growing conditions to grow great Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and world-class Cabernet and other Bordeaux varietals. And so that's actually what we'll be having for you today to kind of show you just the vast diversity we get in Sonoma County.
Let's talk about this Rodney Strong Chalk Hill Chardonnay, almost a lost appellation. This place doesn't get a lot of marquee value.
Yeah, it's pretty much because it's almost exclusively owned by two people, which is Rodney Strong and Chalk Hill Winery. Rodney Strong was the first to plant grapes there back in the mid-'60s, and he did it because of his experiences as a ballet dancer dancing in France and his exposure to Burgundy. And the white volcanic ashy soils we have there, the Huachica ash, reminded him of the limestone soils in Burgundy. And so he just, out of instinct, without any science background, planted Chardonnay, and it's kind of stuck. And at this point, we own almost the whole appellation, so that's why it's not as well known as others.
This is absolutely delicious Chardonnay, though, Justin, and I give great credit to you and the rest of your team for making something that is varietally correct, specific to a region at a time. That's how I judge wine.
Well, thank you. We work really hard at it, both in the vineyard and in the winery, and we're glad you're enjoying it.
I am enjoying it. The citrus effect I'm getting here on the wine, is that common to Chalk Hill?
Yeah, so Chalk Hill is really cool because it's originally was part of, I have it kind of behind me, it was originally part of Russian River, which is on this map right in this area, and it kind of, we just broke a little chunk off, which is on the eastern side of the Russian River Valley. And so what that allowed us to do is kind of capture a little bit warmer area so we can pop that citrus more in the tangerine than the lemon lime characteristics. And it gives the wine a little fun nuance that differentiates it from typical Russian River Chardonnays.
I love that tangerine call. Yes, exactly, indeed. It isn't lemon lime or even lemon. It's just, it's orangey.
Yeah, and that's the little bit extra heat. We get about 5 degrees warmer in Chalk Hill than the rest of the Russian River, and that heat gives us that change in flavor.
We're going to move on here, Justin, to the Rodney Strong Russian River Valley Pinot Noir, one of the great places in America to grow this tough grape.
Very true. Yeah, it's one of our favorite wines we make. We've been doing it since the first vineyard was planted by Rodney in 1968. And this wine is really a great homage to Burgundy.
Let's spend a moment, Justin, if we may, on American Pinot Noir, because Americans like big wines. Americans are big people. We're bold. But Pinot Noir is not that kind of a grape at all. Your Pinot Noir is definitely more in the European style, in the French style. Has that beautiful strawberry cherry thing going in there, a little black cherry happening. That's the Pinot Noir I always look for.
I agree. You know, Burgundy is one of my favorite places. I try to go at least once a year to visit. I have a bunch of friends there. And I really respect what the varietal should be, at least in our opinion. And so that's one of the reasons we make it in this style. It is a decent amount of French oak. There's about 35% new oak, but we pick it at lower sugars, so the alcohols are not out of control, and it allows the varietal to be expressed in the delicate nature that it should be versus trying to make a Cabernet out of Pinot, which is not our goal.
Pete, talking about the alcohol, before I leave the Pinot, I'm going to go on to the next wine, but I will tell you that too much alcohol in the Pinot Noir just completely ruins the Pinot Noir. You haven't done that. Your alcohol control is right in. I could drink this Pinot all day. I love it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and it's all natural, so it's just picking those grapes at what we would call optimal maturity, and that gives us alcohol in that proper range to keep that floral delicacy that Pinot Noir is known for intact.
Let's move back along the terrain of Sonoma County, and let's move back toward Chalk Hill, except that we're going to stop in Alexander Valley. The Symmetry is a Meritage red wine from Rodney Strong. This has sort of been your hallmark for years.
Yeah, we've been making this wine since 1996, and it's a wine that is, we call it Symmetry because it's designed to be balanced. And we use all 5 Bordeaux varietals to do that, including Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Malbec, and Cabernet Franc. And every vintage it changes. This particular vintage, the 13, actually has the highest percentage of Petit Verdot we've ever used. And that just, it spoke to us when we were blending. And in fact, the room that I'm talking in is our blending room. It's this big white table, black floors, where we line up all the wines and we taste through everything, starting with about 125 lots that we then commingle together to make the one wine that you have in front of you.
Justin, this is we have in a 2013 Symmetry. I'm not going to be putting it down. I think this is absolutely the best work you've done in that top of the line wine.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, this is a wine that starts with multiple vineyard sites. It's truly just we call it our winemaker's blend. It's the best wine that we can make of that vintage, regardless of varietal or vineyard source. And so everything's fair game. We base it around Cabernet, but we put in Merlot for sensuality, and Petit Verdot for intensity, and Cabernet Franc for complexity, and Malbec for that natural fleshy character of the wine. And we weave all that into that structure that the Cabernet gives us, and we try to make something that is symmetrical or symmetry balanced and beautiful.
Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of our interview here, Justin, the Rodney Strong wines have been a big favorite of New Orleans. Lots of fans here on the ground in our city. You need to get over here, sir, and walk us through these wines as you just done here. We'd love to see you in town, so please come. The wines are available all over town in every wine shop, almost in every restaurant wine list. You all have done a magnificent job of moving Rodney Strong wines into our population.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Tim McNally right here, Appetite for Life. We're going to come back in just a little bit. You be with us. Welcome back. This is Tim McNally. You're looking at Appetite for Life, and we're at the Empire Bar at Broussard's in the heart of the French Quarter with a very dear friend and a very talented mixologist, Paul Gustings. But mixologist isn't what you like, is it, Paul? You like bartender.
You know, people, when they call you mixologist, mean it as a term of endearment or respect, so it's okay.
Let's go.
But I still like bartender.
I know you do.
Yeah,
well, Paul, you've been at this a while. I mean, this is your passion. This is your life, and what you do here at Empire Bar, it's magic.
I've told people I've done this for 8 months now.
Is that right? Over and over again?
Yeah. And they said, "And what did you do before?" I said I was a nuclear physicist.
They don't buy that, though.
Actually, if you tell people something with a straight face, yes, they do.
Then you're a good bartender.
Yeah, I know. Wait a minute, I don't know if I can. Yeah, okay, I guess.
That's all good.
Yeah.
The Empire Bar is relatively new in and of itself. This
Correct.
is at Broussard's restaurant on Conti Street, and you have been here, I guess, since it opened in its new iteration.
I was here right before that. It was in April 3 years ago.
Okay.
And they closed for a month and a half, and did a complete renovation. And this is what it looks like. It's nice and bright, shiny.
Spectacular
it looks really
bar.
good. Yes,
I mean,
it
really.
looks very, very good.
When you get to the subject of comfortable bars, this one has to be up near the top in New Orleans, I think.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
The term of empire, all right? So that's a reference back to Napoleon.
Correct, which is kind of an interesting thing because a lot of people, when they hear empire, either think of the Roman Empire or they think of the British Empire. They never think of the French Empire.
They go back too far.
They go back a little further than that, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, you know, like a lot of the drinks that we have that I came up with are a reference to Napoleon one way or the other. And that's kind of interesting because some of them are really obscure references that everybody goes like, what? I don't get this, you know?
But that gives you something to talk about.
Absolutely gives you something to talk about.
You are one of the deans of New Orleans bartenders, Paul, because you not only know how to make the drink, you know the history.
And if not, I'll make it up.
Well, that's perfect.
You know?
That's perfect.
So yes, I do know the history.
We can buy it.
Yeah.
You and I talk from time to time about New Orleans-centric drinks that were made here in New Orleans. And one of them that keeps getting left out, in my opinion, is the Rofignac.
Correct.
And you do a great Rofignac.
It's been left out. I don't know of any place where they make it because the traditional way in which it was made, it used to have red hemberich in it. Red hemberich was a South African product, and hemberich is German for raspberry. They stopped making it in 1911, I think, 1910, 1911. So after that, you had to make your own, and a lot of people don't want to go through the trouble of making their own raspberry shrub.
But you do.
I do. It is not as much work as people think it is.
So let's talk about Rofignac. Origin of the drink.
Mayor Rofignac. That was not his real name. It was Sir blah blah. I mean, he had a name that was, you know, bigger than his lands that he had in France. He was the last real French mayor of the city of New Orleans, 1832, 1836, I think. I might be a few years off, but it was right around that time. And he put in street lighting and cobblestone streets, and that was he was known for, and they named the drink after him. This was Milius's house drink until they closed.
Milius Bar.
Yes.
Right up the street here.
On Poydras. Until they closed in 1982. Is that about right?
I don't. It's way before my time. I wasn't even born yet.
Something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And he almost got that past me there.
I tried.
Yeah.
I can only try. I can talk over you and work on it a little bit. So what's in a Ruffignac, Paul?
Ruffignac is brandy, because it's a French mayor,
right.
French product, brandy, raspberry shrub, and a splash of soda water.
Let's get one. Let's try this thing out and do this. While you're doing that, I will suggest to add to the story that while he was the last French mayor of New Orleans, he was actually an escapee from the French Revolution. And he came to town with his titles, and he was a state legislature, and he was a city councilman, and then he became mayor, as you noted. And the drink, however, my understanding, Paul, you probably have a better idea of this, the drink is rather obscure in how it came to be.
I have no idea how it came to be, because the only thing that I can think of is that they had the raspberries and they needed to do. A lot of these drinks came to be because they didn't want the product to go bad.
Amazing.
That's why they made apple cider. That's why they made all kinds of stuff. Because it's something that, you know, I mean, there was no refrigeration, there was none of that stuff, so they had to work with it, so they made something out of it. And you know, vinegar makes
a great preservative.
It's a great preservative.
So what is in here now? What did you use?
It's brandy, raspberry shrub, and a splash of soda water. It's a really refreshing, very bright summer drink.
And Paul, what is a raspberry shrub?
Raspberry shrub is equal amounts of raspberry, vinegar, sugar, and water.
I love that drink. I love that drink.
It's a really good drink.
It's a refreshing drink.
It's forgotten.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what it is anymore. No, people know what it. Well, you know what? That's not true. There's plenty of people that know what it is.
You just can't get it.
They just can't get it, and also there's few bartenders that know how to make it, but they don't. You know, there's a whole bunch of other drinks that people don't make that are, you know, New Orleans centric great drinks.
So are these your favorite drinks to make, Paul? Are these New Orleans centric drink, the Ramos Gin Fizz, the Sazerac, the Grasshopper, the Vieux Carré? You like making those?
I love making those, specifically since New Orleans was basically the only city in the country where these drinks never went out of fashion. I've been making Ramos Gin Fizz for 35 years. I've been making Ruffignacs for 35 years. I've been making these for years. I have a funny story about that. Like a couple of years ago, I'm talking to this brand new bartender from, I don't know, somewhere, not New Orleans. And he's all excited. The guy is like 25 and he's all excited. He just found this great new drink that he'd never heard of, had never seen before in his life, and he tried it and it was really good. I'm like, oh, and I was like, what is it? And he goes, it's a Sazerac. Like, oh boy. I mean, you know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, exactly.
He was just born. Yeah.
But he was really excited because he'd never seen it. And I'm going, well, we've been making this stuff for 150 years.
Yeah, since the
1840s.
1840s.
He didn't comprehend that.
Well, it was new to him.
It was new to him.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, these drinks have been around for years and years.
These drinks are the kinds of things, Paul, that I use as an example. The minute you leave the city limits,
You're done.
You don't get good coffee, you don't get good bread, and you don't get good cocktails.
Well,
thanks to people like you that are preserving the faith.
I don't know. Don't eat the bread then, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Don't leave New Orleans.
Don't leave New Orleans.
That's the key to it. Yeah, Paul Gustings at the Empire Bar at Broussard's and on Conti Street. What is it?
819.
819.
Conti Street.
Okay. One of the grand restaurants in this city. And Paul, good to have you, buddy.
My pleasure.
Always a pleasure
Thank
to
you.
be with you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Tim McNally right here. You're watching Appetite for Life. We're going to be right back. Come on back. We're on Appetite for Life, and thank you for coming back. Holiday season's approaching us. Yeah, you knew that. But why not figure out what to drink early? Leora Madden is here from Pearl Wine Company. She is going to tell us what to do. Leora, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Tim.
We're about to have a little something I don't think I've ever had. Sea Smoke Sparkling.
A rare bird here.
Yeah.
Very highly allocated, 100% Chardonnay. They do age on Surly, and just a beautiful expression of California. And I know it's not champagne, but
it's cult.
I think yes, it is a cult following.
It is a cult following on Sea
But
Smoke.
I think you will be impressed with this wine. I think the quality and the way that it shows is spectacular.
Well, these guys have been doing some fabulous work. You bring this out, oh my goodness.
Right?
That yeast, to you, my darling.
Oh, cheers.
To you, cheers. Oh, that is delightful.
Yeah.
That is delightful.
It really is.
And the Chardonnay is really coming through in the wine. Oh, I love what I'm doing here.
Isn't that beautiful and
delightful.
creamy and rich and
Now that will go well with what's on the table.
absolutely, absolutely. This is a great starter, or if you have a cocktail hour for your Thanksgiving holiday, this is a nice way to start. But it will pair well with most anything that you put up against it.
This is so beautiful. And champagne and sparkling wines are measured by, in my opinion, by the fruit expression, which people tend to overlook because they get involved with the bubbles, but there is fruit in this wine, and the acids on the backside.
That's
and
right.
this one makes all the criteria.
It does. It does. It's Pacific Ocean marine layer comes over on the Santa Rita Hills and makes for a very cool climate, very similar to the Champaign area, and the fruit just speaks for itself.
It's delicious.
Yeah, it really is.
It's delicious. Well, let's keep on going with our row of holiday wines.
Okay.
What are you bringing up next?
So next we have a rosé. And as you know, Tim, rosé is taking the wine world by storm.
It needs to. It's delicious.
It does need to. I'm
Yes.
so glad it's making a comeback.
Well, you've done a lot at Pearl in making rosé a part of the New Orleans landscape.
We have, and we're proud of that because it's now one of our biggest selling categories in the summer months in terms of wine. And this is one that we put together with a negociant in France, just outside of Provence, Tim. So this is
That came from home plate then.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So this is going to be...
So this is only available at Pearl.
It is. It is only available at Pearl. We do very well with this wine. It's one of our best sellers. We just introduced it this April.
A beautiful color.
Yes.
A beautiful color on this
Beautiful
wine.
color.
It's not deep rosé. It's very light rosé. What are the grapes in there?
That's going to be Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, and a little bit of, Cinsault.
All grapes from that region. Wow. I love that expression on that. It's very clean.
It is. It's very clean, and that acid really hits on the back of your tongue as it finishes. And this is why I brought this wine, because as you're eating Thanksgiving dinner, this is going to be something that will please both the white wine and the red wine drinkers.
And for every food on the table. Thanksgiving has a lot of food on the table.
Yes.
And this will go with everything.
It will. It will.
Yeah.
It will, for sure. This will definitely go with everything. And we have a good bit of this still in stock. We wanted to make sure that we had enough for the Thanksgiving holiday season.
Good.
Because we do expect sales, to pick up.
I would think so. It goes, as I said, it goes with everything. Let's talk about this next wine here, Leora, because this is not exactly the wine, but it's sort of the wine. And on the third Thursday of November every year, according to French law, at that point, the Beaujolais Nouveau is allowed to be released.
That's right.
And so we're taping before that time, so we don't have any Beaujolais Nouveau. But you brought a Morgon from the region, which is indicative of what Beaujolais is all about.
It is. is.
Do you like Beaujolais?
I love Beaujolais.
Yeah.
I really do. And as you know, Beaujolais is the Gamay grape. And it too is regaining some popularity
Well, I hope so.
lately. And
Well, they went through some tough times. They went through some bad vintages.
they did. They
And you've got to be able to excuse that if you're going to love the drink.
exactly.
So the Morgon is a Beaujolais style wine, and the Nouveau would be just a little lighter than this. What year is this Morgon?
This Morgon, let me see, 14.
So it's fairly new.
Yep, fairly new. But Morgons,
Beautiful.
as you know, are made to age. And they are not the Nouveau.
Right.
They are Gamay wines made more in the style of an aged Burgundy. So these wines do very well over the years. And
Boy, that fruit is nice in that. That is so delightful. That is really, really pretty. And here again, this is a wine, you know, and sometimes at Thanksgiving, I'm sure you do this, Leora, is that you end up at focusing on a dish. Oyster dressing, the turkey, whatever. And some people focus on the cranberry.
yes.
They tend to hone in on it. Here it is.
Yes.
Here it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is it, with a little bit of raspberry, a little bit of cherry, but it's just a beautiful, light, refined, and balanced red wine. Again, a crowd pleaser.
Do you mind if I open up the last bottle?
Please.
Would you talk about it while I'm doing that?
Yes. So this is a wine that I discovered while I was in South Africa about 2.5 years ago. And I was brought to the winery, and we had this for breakfast with the winemaker, Peter.
You had this for breakfast.
We had a glass of Graham-Beck Rosé.
That's a good
for
breakfast right off the bat.
It is a great breakfast. And I fell in love. I took a picture. I still have that picture, of course. And it has been one of the best sellers for us at Pearl ever since. And the consistency is beautiful. It's Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from the Robertson area of South Africa. And some people may say, South Africa making bubbles. Don't knock it till you try it.
You're right.
It
You're
is.
right.
It is outstanding.
Well, Graham Beck is one of the biggest, most popular, successful businessmen in South Africa. So I'm thinking if his name's on it, this is going to be
Right.
great.
He has a 100% fully sustainable
That's done.
farm and a vineyard, and you know, his staff works and lives and learns on the grounds. He also has you know, wildlife preserve, if you will, on the ground. So just a really beautiful property and a really beautiful wine.
Holiday wines from Leora at Pearl Wine Company in the American Can Complex on Orleans Avenue near Bayou St. John. I think that
Yes.
nailed it.
Oh yeah.
That got it. Leora, have a great holiday season.
Cheers, Tim.
Cheers to you. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for
Tim
having me.
McNally, Appetite for Life. We're going to be right back. Join us. Well, that is all the time we have today. Thanks again to all of our guests. I'm Tim McNally saying cheers until next time for Appetite for Life.
This program has been brought to you by Republic National Distributing Company, one of the nation's leading wholesale beverage alcohol distributors. And Bayou Rum, made with only the best Louisiana cane syrup and raw unrefined sugars. Our rums are crafted on-site at the Louisiana Spirits Distillery. For more information, visit bayourum.com.